What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Podcast The Sequel, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the continued. My name is Joseph.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Marissa.
I'm Manira.
And with the 20th year anniversary of Saw, we decided this week to talk about Saw 2. But as always, before we get into Saw 2, we gotta start with the original. Obviously, 20-year anniversary, directed by James Wan, I'm a huge fan of. Who wants to take the lead in this one? Because I could ramble about this all day.
I mean, I can't take the lead on. I don't want to take that from you, but it is a great movie.
So, just to start off, I remember I was forbidden to watch this movie for like a long time. And my family was so against this. Mind you, the same family that made me watch The Exorcist and a bunch of other movies when I was like
because religious. Yeah,
yeah,
like religious.
For like 5-6 years old. I think I watched The Shining when I was like 5. But like the Saw was like, oh no, you can't watch this. This,
why?
I don't know. I saw in Freddy vs. Jason, like I was forbidden to watch. I had to go to a friend's house, and he had to rent it from Blockbuster so I could watch both movies.
Shout out to Blockbuster.
Yeah. Deep cut.
Rip.
But yeah, that's the first time I watched it. We watched it. I haven't watched it in a long time. We rewatched it yesterday. Yeah, man, I still like it. I like the psychological warfare and torture that goes on in this movie.
Yeah, especially from the last movie we did.
Yeah.
What? Why are you making a face?
Because he likes the psychological warfare that's happening. I was like, oh my god, so dark.
I feel like it keeps the audience invested into like the character.
I mean, considering the movie that we just watched, that we just finished, right?
Terrifier, right?
This is very tame in comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Is it?
I agree. I think it is very tame because we were talking about it when
I
we
don't
were
think it would
watching
work,
it last night. We're like, I mean, I understand like when it first came out, the impact it had and like how it was considered like terrifying and like the psychological warfare and everything. But now that we have Terrifier, I'm just like, eh.
Well, because the biggest deal about the movie is when he, spoilers as always, is when he saws the leg off. But it's not really like that insane.
Art
now
the
when
Clown
we
does way worse
rewatch it.
things.
Like, I feel like a lot of people are desensitized to like everything else with social media and internet being more open to everywhere. I feel like it's still a good movie just because I like the storyline and like how pretty much Jigsaw is giving you a second opportunity to life and to have like appreciation to their life, even though they made so many other mistakes. You know, like that's the way I've always seen the Jigsaw message. Like I remember telling Moon, it's like he's obviously not a hero, but it's very like anti-hero where he's trying to get you a chance. Like if you're gonna kill yourself, you might as well go through all this torture. But do you appreciate the things you have in your life, or do you not? That's what I took from the Saw movies.
I don't know. I feel like there's a part of like yes and no, because like originally like he's picking on like these people who are like cheating on their wives and like they're like druggies and like all these things, and then I think it gets into more like obviously as the series goes on, he starts like being like, oh, you just live through your life day by day, so like I'm gonna make you like enjoy your life by like encountering your death, which like yeah, I guess some like adrenaline junkies would see that, where they're just like, oh yeah, like I love living on the edge and jumping off buildings and jumping out of planes and doing that stuff, and that's great. But I mean, like, who's to say that pushing yourself to that limit is you truly living your life? You know, like what if somebody just living their life, all they want is just a quiet life, maybe a couple kids, house in the suburbs, and that's like what they're living is really doing because they're creating life, hence the living, versus somebody who's like, no, I don't want none of that. I want to travel. I want to see all of the different countries. I want to jump out of planes. I want to ride the fastest roller coasters. Like, so I mean, like, who's to say? You're looking at me confused.
just seeing where you're going with the.
Well, no, my question is just like he starts picking on those people who are just like, you just live your life a day to day. You're not really living. So like, what are you living for? Like, so I'm going to force you to like stare like death in the face, stare life in the face, and basically like force yourself to keep yourself alive, and hopefully that'll give you a different perspective on life. So who's to say that like his perception of like how somebody is living their life is living their life?
Yeah, kind of like Lee Winnell's character.
Yeah, like arguably. Yeah,
all he did was take. He's like, man, I'm just trying to make a living, dude. I just take pictures of people because I get money off of it.
Yeah.
And just.
I mean, like, and who's to say if he was good or bad? Like, I did not like his character. I don't like Adam just because, like, I feel like
he's a little weenie.
Yeah, he's like a little
from
weasel.
the get-go, dude.
Yeah, he's like a little weasel. Like, and he's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like you very much have like this. For me, it was very like commentary on like fight or flight situation.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, it was like fight or flight, where you have like Dr. Gordon, who's very like calm, cool, collective, calculated, trying to think of a way out. Like in any sort of like hectic experience, like is somebody going to stay calm, or are they just going to like run and try to like fight and fight? And you have all these characters throughout the series that like face both, right? That are like calm, cool, collected, and they get out, versus those people who are just like manic and very like, oh my god, I have to get out of here, what am I gonna do? And they start shaking things and trying to open things, and then they die because they're just going.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh
Sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they make that point for both of those characters in the first Saw, by which they use their filming techniques. Is that where you're going?
I was gonna say
go ahead.
the
You go
exact-
for it.
I was
Go
gonna
for
say
it.
the exact.
I'll
no,
let
no.
you take it then.
No, it's your. You brought it up.
No,
I was gonna
no,
say
no,
the
no,
exact
no.
same thing.
You take it.
You guys
Please
read the
enjoy.
same stuff?
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those like when you see them like when they're filming both like Dr. Gordon, like you said it's very camera steady.
They put it on a tripod.
Yeah. Versus like Adam, it's very like not necessarily like shaky. I think
It was
would use,
handy
like,
cam.
handy cam where you can see like it's not as like focused where it's like you can see like I don't know. I feel like it was a good way
Because
to
it jolts and moves
Yeah.
while they're
Stationary
filming
shot
it.
and a cot and like
And
more
one
of like a
that's set.
chaotic. Like,
yeah. I feel like you could. I honestly like when I was watching it and seeing those things, I felt like I was just more interested. Like I could see like the emotions and like the whole like fight or flight response and like the adrenaline. It's like, what would you do if you were in that situation? Would you be like, I need to stay cool, calm, and collected, or am I gonna be freaking out and just be like, I don't know what to do, like this, and just jumping everywhere to try and figure out a way out. But I thought that was a cool thing that the director did when it came to like filming the movie. I thought it was nice little touch, the extra touch that the extra mile that he went through.
I think
That little
that's
James Bond
that's
touch.
like smart filmmaking.
Yes.
Because it's just adding to what you're trying to build. So, and I think like for the most part, like I think that's why these movies ended up succeeding so well, not only because of when they came out. They obviously came out in the early 2000s, which is when you had like a lot of your torture porn.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
I mean,
We said revenge
that is the
porn before.
specific. Well,
not
no,
revenge. It's not
I
revenge.
wouldn't say
No, I know,
that.
but I was saying like
Well, we
said
said
it-
it in the last
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
torture porn. I would say is
It-
Well, yeah, because you had like your hostels, your
Yeah, just keep throwing
Right?
it out there. It's
Yeah.
okay. We didn't do it in the first 30 seconds, so I think
We should be fine.
I think
yeah.
YouTube.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, but that is the prop. It is torture porn. That is the description
that's
of. That's
the-
what they
yeah,
describe
like, that's what
Terrifier
they-
the most.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna say
Hostel is
Hostel.
around the same time. Yeah. But yeah, I think James Wan, like originally he made this into a short film to try to sell it.
he did.
And then it wasn't picking up. And then they finally, it was Lionsgate that was like, yeah, we'll take the.
Yeah.
yeah. Lionsgate bought the rights to it, and then they premiered it. I think in the Sundance Film Festival in 2004, and then
That's when it
theatrically
lifted.
released it.
Yeah.
And
It was. I remember it being a big deal.
Yeah.
I
I
remember
think
a
it
lot of
was,
people
yeah.
hyping up the lake scene, and then rewatching it now, I'm just like,
I think
I'm
for
like-
the time though, because I like one of my notes that I had is it's very of the time.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
certain
Yeah.
camera techniques that they use, like speeding up certain scenes and like and the camera's
The
going
editing.
around the editing was
Yeah.
a little
But I
early
think
2000s
it's like
type
Yeah,
of
yeah.
movies.
Yeah, I think it did for like what like if we're gonna go with that term of torture porn, I think it did what it did for that genre, what like Exorcist did for like, you know, these like religious films, what Blair Witch did for
It
like,
did.
you know, found footage.
It took it up a notch.
Yeah, like creature feature, like whatever genre you're trying to place, like that was it kind of set its place, I think, for like that genre and kind of like everybody just kind of built up there like, oh, this is doing really well, okay, sick, we're gonna do something similar to this and like torture people and see what happens kind of thing. And like I remember telling Ryan when we sat down to watch just like I was watching the first one and I was like, oh yeah, every time I see like Lionsgate I always get like questionable, but then like I kind of started digging a little bit and I was like, shit, they've done like so many different
done a lot of big
they've
movies.
done well, like okay, so I wrote down
popped off.
I was like
Yeah,
I wrote
yeah,
down
some-
like a few where I was just
Okay.
like, okay, I knew like some shitty like horror movies that they've kind of done, which is like Leprechaun, Hostel, like you know, arguably like the Saw movies, and then like you have like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like The Next Generation, like House of a Thousand Corpses. Like I mentioned specifically Alone in the Dark, which he did not know, which is Christian Slater, Tara Reid, creature feature kind of thing. And then I got into like not horror movies.
They've done some big. Didn't they
No,
do Hunger Games?
they did Hunger Games. They did Twilight,
Yeah.
American Psycho. They did the Divergent series, Step Up, La La Land,
Jesus.
Ryan's favorite movie, But I'm a Cheerleader, Dogma.
Dogma.
They've done.
But
Like,
I'm
big
a
movies.
cheerleader.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
I feel like
just funny.
Lionsgate peaked in like the mid 2000s, and then
No, because they did La La
did
Land.
La
Like
La
they've
Land.
hit some strides with like.
what have they done recently?
I mean, La La Land was like an Oscar winner
yeah,
for
La
like
La
a few
Land wasn't
seconds.
that long ago. Yeah, I was like, I feel like that was only a few years
A few
ago.
seconds, yeah.
They did In the Mix with Usher.
Yeah, I heard that. Well, was it Lionsgate that created its own?
Stars.
That's what
They
they. Yeah,
created-
they
they
did.
created
yes,
Stars.
Yeah,
but
we
then
talked about it,
Twisted
yeah.
Pictures. Something comes from that. Like
I think that's like a sub.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
created specifically to put out their horror movies.
Those,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was that genre. that they
for
were-
Saw.
I think you're right.
I mean, they work very obviously very closely with James Wan,
Yeah, that's
Lee Winnell.
he goes back to it a
Um,
few times in his career. But yeah, I've always loved James Wan. I like his set pieces. I like what he does. I think people love him too because like he doesn't take that much of a budget, and he still delivers a pretty solid like.
Oh yeah, like
movie.
his movies are pretty.
Yeah.
90% of that movie's in one room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 100% of two
Is in
one building.
It's in one
Toronto.
building,
Yeah.
in
Building.
Toronto. Yeah.
Because like
Just
this one
make
has
it
a $1 million budget. It made 103.9 million in the box office.
I think like another thing that I read about, since you brought up the budget, is James Wan agreed not to take a salary from Lionsgate. He was like, I will go unpaid. I just want a percentage of the film once it's released. And honestly, it probably made bank.
Could be smart.
Yeah.
If done correctly.
It's a risk.
I think
Yeah.
it was a risk he was
It's a
willing
big
to
risk.
take, and I think him and whose name I cannot pronounce, Adam.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Lee Winnell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they did like for them to like take this, make a short film, and like put all their like passion and everything into it. I think they did a bang up job with the movie. I didn't
Absolutely.
realize that the screen, because I think James Wan directed, Adam
Lee Winnell, yeah.
that guy.
He wrote, yeah.
He wrote the screenplay of it. I was like, you did a good. I didn't know he was also the actor who played Adam.
Mhm.
That guy
Yeah.
was the
Lee
same
Winnell.
person until
Yeah,
we
yeah.
finished watching it. And I was like, oh, it's
Say it
the same
with us.
person.
Jump back with
Lee
us because they're
Winnell.
Australian.
Lee
He's
Winnell.
probably
Lee
best
Winnell.
friends with Bowser.
Oh yeah,
Butterfly
because
Butterfly
Bowser.
Bowser.
Because he's Australian.
He's also Australian.
Yeah.
No, but I think like Lee Winnell, like I feel like he's like the silent, like he's very much like silent talent. I feel almost like I mean people like kind of know his name, but I feel like more people know James Wan's name.
Yeah.
But Lee Winnell is like the writing genius behind so many films, and like he did like most recently
Recent, too.
like the Invisible Man reboot. I think he has
Which I
other
thought was
projects.
pretty good.
I love that. that
Yeah.
was pretty good.
No, and they work together a lot. Time from time. I know, was it James Wan? I think the most recent one we saw was *Malignant*,
Yeah.
which I loved.
Yes.
That was
I
very
love
like
*Malignant*.
throwback to early 2000s horror. Very fun twists, if you will. So I don't know. I really enjoy like a lot of their movies that they end up doing. I know you really like *Upside*. I think is it *Upside*? *Cube*? You like one of those
They didn't
two.
do that, did they?
They did, Lee Winnell did *Upside*, and I think I know Lionsgate did *Cube*.
The
But I don't-
Cube or Cube?
*Cube*.
I don't know what that is.
I thought you said you liked *Cube*.
Well, if it's the Cube.
*Upside* was the one that just came out like maybe like
Are you talking about the
6
one where
years
they're
ago.
trapped in the cube?
Yeah.
And their little rooms that are just all traps?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good movie. If that's the movie that you're speaking of.
There you go.
But I don't
Pull
know
it up,
the
look it
information
up.
right now.
I have no idea what they're saying.
Just look up.
It's a movie called. I want to. Cool. Is it if
Cube or
it's
the
just
The
called
Cube?
Cube or if it's called The Cube? 'Cause
It's
I think
called
it might
Cube.
be two different.
It's just called
movies.
Cube.
Oh, yeah,
Pull it
this
So
up.
on the
called Cube.
1997 film,
Yeah.
Canadian science fiction film.
Is that it? Is that the one?
I don't know. Read the description.
Oh no, that's not it.
See.
Fear, paranoia, suspicion,
Oh
desperation.
no, yeah, that's it. Yeah, Lionsgate. Yeah.
Lionsgate
There you go.
made this
yeah,
one.
Yeah,
The
yeah. Yes.
What is the description of the movie?
A man named Alderson awakens in a room that has hatches on each wall.
Yeah,
and
it's the
Yeah.
movie.
So we're
Yeah,
talking about the
it's
same
the
movie.
movie.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, that's all I need.
So it's just called Cube.
And then my favorite film by them, Dead Silence.
I love Dead Silence. I was literally just before we
Which will
started
come
before
up.
you started
Which will come up
just
with the
talking
second
it.
one because
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Are they making a second one of that, or did they?
No,
already
No,
make one?
because
the
they
second
yeah
Saw.
because they weren't able to come back for the second
Yes,
Saw because
yeah,
they were
'cause
too
they
busy.
were working on
which
Dead
I find
Silence.
hilarious because Dead Silence arguably not a great movie. We just love it for the sake of how terrible it is.
early 2000s. It is.
Yeah.
And welcome back, Donnie Wahlberg,
Donnie.
playing
Donnie.
another detective. Look at you, Donnie.
Yo, what character am I playing? The same one?
Um,
I'll do it again.
but yeah,
I'm shocked he wasn't in that Venom movie. It's just been talking.
He almost was
Dude,
because
yeah.
that's what we thought. That's who
That's
exactly.
what you guys
we
who
thought it
you thought it was,
Yeah,
right?
that's why
was.
it's
It was that guy with the Donnie Wahlberg hairpiece.
Full
'Cause
circle.
at first glance, I was like Donnie, and I'm like, nah, that's the kid from Gangs of New York.
And I was like, no, that's the kid from Snatch. And then nobody saw Snatch.
the kid. Oh, yeah, nobody, and none of us saw Snatch.
The internet is outraged by this, just so you know. They didn't comment on it, but they're still outraged about it.
They're so outraged they didn't comment.
I really like this movie. I know that it's very like non-linear, and I feel like for it kind of like not to pun intend, but like pieces and put it together in pieces.
Like a puzzle.
Yeah, like a jigsaw puzzle, right? I feel like it does a really good job keeping our attention and kind of assisting us throughout the storyline and helping us kind of connect the whole way through,
Yeah.
while still trying to like memento us, if you will.
Yeah, but there's also a story.
Oh yeah, there's a storyline. I love like the little pieces. Like there's still twists that kind of like tinker down. I think that
There's so many parties involved, and they all have like
there's some
they all
like
have
even
their
and
hand
even
in
like
it.
later down the line, which like we can get into like more sequels about it, but like people come back ish maybe
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
After their
and
contracts are figured out.
Yeah. So I think it's great storytelling, iconic imagery, villain.
Yep.
I think Tobin Bell is most known for playing what is
Jigsaw?
it? John.
John, whatever his name
No,
is.
he has a last name.
He does. It's John Jigsaw Killer. Does something.
John. I can't. I don't know. I
It's
can't.
John.
Pull it up.
It's John something.
His name
Oh,
is
yeah,
John.
no,
He's
yeah,
actually
got it.
very interesting.
His
John Kramer. John Kramer.
Yes,
There you
thank
go.
you.
Kramer.
I was like,
Back to Seinfeld. we go.
and then
Always.
the puppet, which is
Billy.
named Billy. Yeah, I
Yes.
was like Billy. I was gonna say very iconic, like
Made
face
with
of
like
horror.
paper mache and like
Yeah, toilet
Yeah, that
paper.
James
Wan
Yeah,
made
toilet paper.
himself.
second
Yeah, he
one they
did.
got a little
Yes,
he did.
budget grew up a little bit and
I
they
think we were on the same website.
Oh yeah, no, we were.
Yeah.
I thank you, IMDb.
I really don't think the movie is really that scary. I think in order for it to really be considered scary, you really have to put yourself in the mindset that you are one of these characters in the room.
And you're trapped.
Which, realistically speaking, unless you're a bad person, like you're really not going to have to worry about being trapped here.
in that room. Yeah.
Whereas like other scary movies, like they're picking on innocence.
Innocent. Yeah.
Quote unquote, right? So you have more of a likelihood to be afraid of these movies because it could happen to anyone.
That's why I like the
Whereas-
doctors being like, "What did I do to get here? I had everything planned out. What happened?" Like when he's
My life
starting to
was
lose
in
his mind.
perfect
Yeah, it
order.
was a perfect order.
Yeah.
And he starts slowly losing his mind. Like you start seeing, like even his eyes start looking like
But you
insane, dude.
cheated
Like
on your wife, and then you also like very much cheated on that accent.
That was one of my notes. Was this two non-American dudes doing American accents at each other, and
Yeah.
it's very funny.
Which
to
Lee
me.
Whannell's American accent, not mad.
Yeah, it only
No, yeah.
cracks like very few times.
Certain-
I
certain
I
words.
barely
Yeah.
see it crack.
Yeah,
I see
barely,
like
yeah.
I love Carrie Ellis. I love him.
Absolutely.
Princess Bride. Oh, such a great movie.
Yeah, it is.
the glow up.
But
Just even.
but I mean, like everything else where he has to play like a different accent, I'm kind of like, is it really great? Is it really great?
Yeah, I just think of Robin Hood Men in Tights when he's like, because I
Also
can do it with
great
a British accent.
Yeah, so great. But yeah, I think even there's like one scene that we watched together where you were very much like, how did he go from like the worst acting ever to like arguably really good acting?
Yeah,
like, it was
because
like two lines.
He's on the phone and he's like, what does he say? He's
It's like Allie.
Diana,
Yeah, like,
That
Allie.
Allie.
Yeah,
It's terrible. Yeah,
And then
dude.
immediately like, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, his like the
was
range of
so
it was
fucking-
yeah,
it's just
like,
wild.
fucking
Like,
nuts,
roller
dude. It's
coaster.
terrible, bro.
That is amazing.
And like you bring it up, that's not like scary. There's like I feel like there's only one jump scare in this film, and that's when Adam is taking pictures with the flash because there's no light in his apartment anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh,
like he
that's a
hears,
great
and he
scene.
opens and he takes in like Man Bear Pig comes out. And I'm like, oh shit, because I didn't remember that scene. I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
but that was it. Like scare wise, jump scare wise, I feel like that was the
Yeah.
only scene for me that I'm like, oh okay.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
which
didn't-
is funny because I feel like isn't James Wan known for jump scares?
Well, I
Or is
mean,
he
his
not?
like
Does
most
a
famous jump
few.
scare is just it's broad daylight, and it's just that scene in what is it, Insidious?
Yeah,
The
the
red
Yeah.
face.
the
Yeah,
ones that
yeah,
people mention are that one. and
That's so good. That's such a good
That and the
scene.
scene in The Conjuring when the little girl is like sleepwalking and the other sister wakes up. She's like, "What are you looking at?" She looks up.
Oh, and
that
the
demon witch is-
dresser
yeah,
or the
like the
armoire.
dresser.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only other one
Yeah.
that they bring up a lot.
Which a lot of people don't like that one or the hands in the dark where she's like holding
Oh,
them.
yeah.
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 I think is the Insidious movie the one we watched in theaters, the one that scared me.
No,
Was
no,
that
he
James
was
Wan?
no, he
Yeah, it
was gone
not
after
James
that.
Wan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one was that one? The third one?
That was I want to say
I
the
don't
fourth. I think it
remember.
was chapter 4.
I don't.
Yeah,
There's 4.
yeah. There's
Was that 4 of them?
let me- wait,
Whichever
wait.
one of them. But I agree. I don't think this movie was scary. I like the psychological torture behind the film. I felt like myself what I've seen the movie before. It's been a long ass time since I've seen the movie. So when I was watching it, pretty much forgot like everything that happened. I was like, so you get into like the film, the first like 10 minutes of the film, you don't really know much. You pretty much know as much as like Adam and Dr. Gordon do. You don't really know anything that's happening. And I like that you're piecing pieces together at the exact same time that the characters are piecing together. I like that you have like this parallel storyline, but it kind of works, but you're getting like drip fed information about who Jigsaw is and his reasoning and like the progression of his plot. I feel like it was very compelling, and I felt myself like I was very engaged with the story, that I was just like, I want to know more. Like, I don't remember this film at all. Like, I just want to know what's happening. And then slowly, little by little, I was like, oh wait, now I understand what's happening. So I think they did a great job for this film. I honestly don't really have much to complain about for this film. I see a little bit of I know I brought it up to Joseph because I've seen the film, but you've never seen it. I compared it a little bit to like Seven.
Yeah, you did that too.
Yeah.
You
No,
did
yeah,
that
it
too.
has that vibe.
It has the same
I've never
vibe. I
seen
don't
it.
know which one came.
You never seen Seven?
I've never seen
You don't?
Seven.
Are
I just
you
have
about to
watch
say
that.
you don't know which one came first?
No,
Seven or
Seven.
this one?
Seven
okay.
came
I was
out
like,
way
get.
after
I was like,
that.
get
Seven's
out.
the
I can
90s,
see
no?
like the inspirations that they took from Seven to piece into this movie, but
I've seen
I
Seven
thought it was a
2
great
times,
job.
and I've gotten 20 minutes in. I fall asleep because I watch it late. It always shows up
We
on
always watch
TNT
it
at like
late at
2 in the
night.
morning, and I'm like, and I just knock out.
Yeah.
Just like looked
Yeah.
at the camera, like zoom in on my face. I was like, oh no.
Oh, yeah.
I just was looking at it, and like one of the first things I wrote down, I was like, this is how escape rooms were born. Like just
Yeah.
without death,
Yeah,
you know? So I found it interesting. I didn't realize this. I guess maybe I should have back when I first saw it and it first came out, that this was released literally like a week after The Grudge came out. And I feel like that speaks so many volumes for like early 2000s horror of like reboots and like taking stuff from like Japan and like
yeah.
making it our own in some weird way.
It's the
and,
same like The Ring and all them. Yeah.
you got The Ring and all that stuff, which like, I mean, the first of those movies are arguably okay.
yeah.
And like, I know, like, I feel the same way. Like, I don't have too much to complain. It's more like nitpicky things. Like we talked about, Carrie Elwes' accent and stuff like that.
yeah, it's-
My like first and like one of the first things I wrote down on this was like the very first scene is just Adam waking up in the tub underwater, and I'm just like, how is he waking up underwater? Because wouldn't you just drown if you were unconscious?
Not necessarily.
I don't think he
Unless
was.
they had just dropped them in there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like prior to like.
And what you saw like just Tobin Bell like sneak over and like place himself on the
it's
floor.
Essentially,
In the
I
dark.
think.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, hang on. And then he scoots over like just a little bit.
Hold on. Go lay down real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Take a little siesta right now.
And then he realized that
Just take a nap.
the makeup was on the other side, so he had to go, oh shit.
Hold on, yeah.
Oh shit. Which like
I
he
will say,
did
I
his
did
own
not expect-
makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not expect that twist at the very end.
That's
I
a
was
good-
just,
yeah.
I literally was like, oh my god, and he was like,
That's one of the highlights of the film for me is when the credits are rolling, you can still hear Adam screaming.
Yeah. It's a great way to
Yeah.
end
Yeah.
that movie
Yeah.
for sure.
I feel like I told Ryan, I said I think that Adam Lewenell, I was like, I wrote down he looks like an older, more successful big brother of Ezra Miller.
oh my god,
Like I just like, and I fed it Ryan like this whole like series of just like, you know, they're sitting at the like the dinner table and like he's just kind of like, well, mom and dad, like guess who just made quarterback? And Ezra's like, of course you made quarterback. And he's like, shut up, Ezra, go back to your finger painting. He's like, art is a real deal. Like I got into this prestigious art academy, and he's just like, shut up. He's like, go do your stuff up in your, like, you know, it's like a whole dinner scene that I created. But
Yeah, it was definitely like a Family Guy.
it was definitely, yeah, it was
joke.
definitely like
was
a
pretty
cutaway
funny.
of like just funny things. Shawnee Smith as Amanda, Scream Queen, as she's known now. I was like, he thought about it for a minute.
No, because I was like, Scream Queen, huh?
Yeah,
Is she?
yeah, Scream
Yeah, I
Queen.
guess, yeah.
I mean,
No, I get what you're saying. I had to think
I was
about
like-
what actress you were talking about at first because
she was
don't
in
remember
any of their names or whatever they were.
I just know her that she did a bunch of the Saw movies.
Yeah, I was like, I know
don't
she
her in
was.
anything
I know
else.
she was in Saw. I feel like she was in
Big
something
part of the
else.
story of like the next few.
Yeah. I've only seen the first, so I've never made it past Saw 2.
Oh, I've seen like pretty much all of them.
I've
I think
gone-
I
I
talked
told
to
her-
her.
I think I got to
I
7.
got, I got suckered into seeing I think 5.
Oh,
like,
I
in
saw like all.
theaters.
Every single
only
year
seen
it
the first
came
one.
out. It was like a
dude.
thing.
And I remember just being like,
Well, I was like,
I saw the first one in theaters, but I watched
that's a
it
good one to
in
see in
another.
theaters.
Co-
That's
I
for
saw
sure.
a bootleg.
I watched it in another country where a lot of that movie was cut off. So I was just like, what?
So it's just like, yeah, that's wild to show it there.
Yeah.
They might be into it.
I think the only thing I wrote down for Amanda's character, I don't like the character of Amanda by Shawnee Smith is great. I've heard she's very nice in person. I'm not a fan of her character like ever. Like I think she's really
No.
whiny and very like me, like it's my
Definitely
like-
the second one, she annoyed me more.
Yeah.
Oh, and the third one
Yeah.
is like ooh, rough. But I feel like with her trap, she gets the reverse. It's the first time we see the reverse bear trap.
Yep.
I feel like for as much as she's like panicking and getting out of the chair to like run over to the body to dig out the key, I feel like that's longer than 60 seconds. There's no way. I feel like there's absolutely no way. Like unless she was already just like sitting in the chair and then got up, like maybe. But like she had to like get out.
30
you see
seconds
her, like,
of that was Billy being like, "Oh."
Well, it starts after he's done. So I mean, like, it, like,
she gets
goes,
up.
your
By the time
time
she gets like
starts
her
now.
wrist loose.
That's what I'm saying. Like she gets one. You see it, like she's like they cut and it's like her.
Because then she has that moment too when the guy is like alive. He's
and
awake,
she's like looking at him.
kinda
And she's like, "Oh my
hesitant.
god, do I?" And then she like slowly lifts up the knife, and then
By
she's like,
then, it should
Yeah.
and they should just be both like.
"Yeah,
fucked.
there's no." And then
Yeah.
she has to like find the key. Like there's no way.
And she's still like trembling and going like.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
60
and to
seconds
put
is
it in
like
the
a
right
long
way,
time,
you know
but a
you're
short
not
I would have
time.
been cooked. I would have just sat there and be like,
The key
"Fuck
would have
it,
went in
man."
the wrong way
Dude,
different times.
I would have
before
taken
was
it.
No,
Like, you know what? Nah.
Yeah.
Score is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very iconic
Mm-hmm.
music.
Yeah, we were singing it like all day
Yeah,
yesterday
just like
and
the
today.
dun, 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 dun,
I remember
dun.
me and my friends one time did it for horror nights, and we're just in line doing like da 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 as we're about to get into the main. And they're like, and the guys just like, oh my god, like it's like saw that much. Like that was a banger. They'll do da da da.
I think that was my like thought too. Like rewatching this, I was just like, I absolutely see how this would have been like a maze at like a Halloween.
It was a
Horror
pretty good
Nights
one
or
too.
whatever.
Yeah.
It was one of the
Oh
better
yeah,
ones I've been
terrifying.
in.
The pig masks and then
It was
like
a lot
the
of that.
music and the jigsaw.
When they would
all
have
of
Billy
it.
come out on the little bike at the end.
Oh,
it was
and
just
I
like,
think
oh.
that that's like probably one of the most terrifying things of the movie. Just a very silent. You just hear like the creaking of the trike, and then all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere, and then just like the head turns.
His laugh is
Is-
creepy as
is
fuck
terrifying.
Yeah, how does that go?
Yeah, how's that go?
I mean, you're the king of reenacting laughs.
too. I
on
know
the
you're, I
podcast.
know you're like good at it. Now.
Yeah, he does that little weasel laugh. You know what I mean? You've seen it.
I
Go
don't
back
even
and
think
watch
it's,
that
I don't
episode.
even think it's a weasel laugh. I think
No,
it's,
it's like that Ripperoo laugh from Crash Bandicoot. That like
oh,
We know
to-
what you're talking about.
I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. To me, it kind of sounds like, and I feel like only Mooney is going to understand me on this one. Do you remember in the '90s there was a Barbie, and it was a Baywatch Barbie, and it came with a little dolphin, and it like
Yeah.
you clicked it, and it made that little like, yeah, like that's what it reminds
I
me
do know
of.
what you were talking. Yeah, how'd that go again?
If you can find that, yeah, I was like, if you can find like a clip of like that dolphin just doing like that little like, that's the best I can do. I'm sorry, I can't do
That was
dolphin.
just like that.
Clip of the week.
Yeah, I'll let you stay with it.
That was good. I like it.
You're so.
Anyway,
I had one fun fact that I found about the movie. So I know that they re-released this film with their 10-year anniversary. I did not watch the DVD commentary, but I read about the DVD commentary, and James Wan and
Lee Winnell.
yes,
every time.
they while they were watching the movie and talking about like the DVD commentary, one of the things that they brought up that inspired a lot of like the scare and like the weird sequences that happened in the first Saw movie is they were nightmares that they had as children, and I was like, what the fuck happened in your guys' childhood that you guys literally had dreams of? Like the bear trap scene, I think, was something that one of them had as a nightmare, and I was like, what happened to you guys as children that you guys are dreaming about this?
Spooky shit.
I literally had to hold myself back when she said that because I was just like, you know what they like really like got them to like, you know, the inspiration, and I just like wanted to blurt out so bad. I wanted to be like 9/11.
Okay, I have a 9/11 note.
What?
Do you really?
Somebody, I looked back at like the reviews when these movies came out, and somebody was like, "Yeah, they made this because of 9/11, how people will do enough to survive." And I was just like, where they will jump out of a building or like,
Yeah, but that's not surviving. You're not gonna
Well, it's
survive.
like it's the better of two evils. Like, what do you want to
Well,
do?
Yeah,
Is
your options are limited.
I mean,
You're either gonna do this or
Holy
you're just
shit.
gonna take it, and it's like,
Damn.
I will say, as someone who just went to the 9/11
Oh,
museum,
Jesus.
I'm gonna bring
never forget.
the way that you walk in and you're hearing like all of these like accounts and like certain things. People do certain things, in, like your fight and flight. Like they're like, well, if I jump, like I'll survive, but if I stay here, I'm gonna die and burn in this building. So it's just pick or choose. I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's like their way of taking control of like their own
They take control of their
final
situation.
moments.
Yeah, I guess, right.
it
Yeah.
becomes their choice.
I mean, obviously different situations,
Yes.
whereas like this is kind of like, I guess from the get-go, like we said before, like he's picking these people based off like bad things that they've done. So like it's very much horror like scheme of like, if you do bad things will happen to you. If you don't have sex, don't do drugs, blah blah blah,
Yes.
you're safe.
Yeah.
I think this takes it to like the extreme of like, oh, you were in jail for 7 years because you murdered a child and then just left the scene. Oh, then you're definitely going in this box. Versus like, oh, I accidentally took one piece of candy when I was 5, felt bad about it, and then like Jigsaw now put me in a reverse.
You must eat all of these candies that are filled with razor blades.
That's very 7. Just like, eat yourself to death. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I just thought
that
about
was
it.
pretty much it.
It was just like the inner Marissa screaming.
Well, I know that's how they got the movie greenlit. Was they're showing like a test screening or test footage of it, and it was Lee Winnell did the bear trap thing, and he actually put a bear trap in his mouth to sell the movie. Like
Commitment.
Rusty,
Right there,
yeah,
dude. That's fucking
to
cool.
show how
God.
it would work.
I mean, that's legit. I mean, it's like one of the most famous, if not the most famous trap in probably
Yes.
the South. I would say, I would argue.
Yeah.
The Venus flytrap is pretty bad. I mean, that's in the second one, but
Yeah.
that one's pretty. The
Oh yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, what? Oh yeah. The reverse
So
bear
yeah,
trap.
I don't know. Does anybody else have anything?
I got nothing.
Ready
Else.
to rate this bad boy?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say. I was like, I feel pretty ready to move.
I'll take it. I thought the story was very compelling. I like that it was more of a psychological thriller than it was like a slasher, scary, gory,
Jump scary.
yeah, horror film. I thought the movie was very clever, very well paced. For being a low budget film and leaving that much of an impact that it did in like horror film genre. I didn't hate the movie. I thought like it was a very simple movie, very simple premise that kept me very engaged. 3.5 out of 5 poppies for me.
Okay.
How many times did you check your phone?
I think like once in the beginning.
But you had already seen it, so
I've already seen
I
it,
feel
yes.
like I will
Different,
take off that. I
Yeah.
feel like I will take that off because
I've already seen it. Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah. Marissa?
I feel like I'm around the same. I almost want to give it like a 3.75. I know that's like absurd and we're like getting into like decimals now. But like I don't want to quite give it a 4 because I'm going to reserve that. Yeah, I feel like 3.5 because I feel like
5 is solid.
yeah, I feel like it's like a solid movie. It's a good time. Like I would, if they re-released it in theaters again, I would definitely go see it just because for the sake of it. I think there's touch and go acting. I think honestly, like Lee Winnell does a decent job as an actor. And even with the accent, I think the writing is spectacular. Directing points, I think we talked about the score. Obviously, you have now an iconic villain to go off of. Also, a smart villain, which is always nice. So yeah, I would say I think I would go with you. Yeah, 3.5 overall.
Yes. Yeah, I was right there with you guys as well. Like I had to really think about it, and I was like, there was a story to be had. Just like certain editing choices, I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of like of the time, and I was like, that's fine. Still a great movie for the budget that they had, and I'll say 3.5 as well.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. I'm at 3.5 as well. The psychological stuff to me is far more impactful than if this movie had a bunch of jump scares.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just like again, like I put myself in their like situation, so I could flesh it out a little bit more. And then again, like we've said it so many times already, because I feel like that's like the 4th, 5th movie we do where the budget's so small and the box office success is huge. And I'm like, I appreciate movies like that. I'm a big fan of James Wan. I don't know if people would appreciate it if it just came out now.
Yeah.
I think audiences are just going to just be like, that's it. You know what I mean? I wonder what the cultural impact would be if it did release in this generation that we're in right now, just because of everything else that we're getting, which is a great example with like Terrifiers we brought up already. But I think 3's solid. I think it's a watchable movie. It's a decent movie. It's a great Halloween movie to watch because it's just different. That's a different level. Like psychological fear, I think, is scarier sometimes than actual just bah. You know?
And
I
I
agree.
And I want to piggyback off of that only because Ryan and I slightly touched on it when we were talking about the Saw movies, is that there's like, yes, there's kind of a lot of like, you see a lot of like blood and stuff on like shirts and like kind of, you know, like after it's already been spilt kind of stuff. But I feel like what differentiates this from Terrifier is that it's smart filmmaking.
Yeah.
You're not just getting like gore and fear, but you're also getting like a storyline. You're
Yeah.
getting like a thought process. You're getting like very meticulously put through like traps and like how they got there. And even like in the
Backstory,
future,
like
some of these traps have to do with the things that
What
they've
they've done,
done.
yeah.
So I feel like even if it was released today, I almost feel like it would still do okay. Just because it's smart filmmaking. And I think that the audience is given a chance to like Mooney said, just like think about, okay, like you're in the same position, like how are you going to solve it along with them? And I feel like as an audience member, that's something like I appreciate, is when like the director or the writer or whoever kind of gives me the same opportunity and like I like is respectable of like my thought process along with the movie.
Yep.
But
I agree.
that last Saw was garbage.
I haven't seen-
I don't know. I didn't.
Oh,
see-
not
I
the
didn't
Spiral
see-
one. I heard
Oh,
that
I was
one
gonna
was
say
really
I
good.
didn't see
Yeah, I was
Spiral.
like, I heard that one was
Spiral
really
I
good.
didn't see the Forever Saw or whatever it was called.
Yeah,
or
Yeah,
whatever.
I've
the
only
last
seen the
one
first
was, yeah.
two.
Saw Viral or
I think I saw
something.
up to the final chapter and the.
I think I don't know what number. I think 7.
I think
or
you
8.
said you got to 7.
Yeah, I don't remember. I
That's-
watched
that's
7 like in
crazy.
theaters too. Like,
That's wild.
yeah.
Damn.
But
So moving on to Saw 2.
Saw
Saw
2.
2.
Saw 2, which is funny because Saw 1 has a C+ cinema score and Saw 2 has a B+ cinema score.
That's wild.
I was more excited to talk about Saw 2 than I was to talk about
So-
Saw 1.
With that being said, let's get into Saw 2, which has a better cinema score than the original Saw. Saw has a C+ cinema score, while Saw 2 has a B+ cinema score. Also, the budget went up to $4 million, and this one made $152.9 million in the box office.
So
Also, the most sold DVD in Lionsgate history.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. Saw
Okay,
2,
that's
Saw.
surprising.
To this day, still.
Till
Till
this day.
It's also
Wow.
technically the last horror movie to have a VHS release.
Oh,
God,
so
we're so
sad. VHS.
My
For
thing
you
is-
kids that don't understand, it's a big cassette player.
I did not hate Saw 2. I don't know. I feel myself being very conflicted with which one I preferred more. I know a lot of people preferred Saw 2 over the first one, which I can see, but also I don't know. But I think it's a good sequel to the first one. It's different in its own way, where I feel like I don't want to say it's the perfect sequel, but I want to say it's a good enough sequel where it pays homage and tribute to Saw, but also hold its own in its own way, because I feel like it's different, but not really that different from Saw. Obviously, this one is a lot more gorier and a lot bloodier and more violent than the first one. So I feel like it's different, but it also pays tribute to the first one when they're basically back in, is it the bathroom scene from the first one where you have like Adam's like decaying body?
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
yeah,
weird,
yeah.
like,
when they
tile.
they're finding
Yeah,
their way
yeah.
back
Yeah.
to where they're, yeah.
So I feel like it does a good job of paying homage to it, but also holding its own and being its own sequel to the first one. I don't know if
And
that makes any
There
sense.
is a reason for that as well. And I was telling you that because that was something that I read, is that this movie was written to be a standalone movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
the guy
See,
was
that's what I
having
see.
trouble
The-
selling
yeah.
what
it.
was it, the desperation?
Or whatever,
something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
whatever it was
desperation.
called.
Yeah.
And they were
Okay.
like, well, it seems a little Saw-ish.
Yeah, and they took that.
And,
and they-
they
Okay.
were like,
yeah.
oh, and then eventually their Lionsgate was like, yeah, we'll do it,
Mm.
but we want to make it kind of like a Saw.
Saw
So
sequel,
we'll bring in
yeah.
Lee Winnell to help write, to connect those
Mm.
stories.
Okay,
the-
see, that makes a lot more sense.
Because
to
the
me.
movie that the guy wrote, which the director, I have his name, what was it?
It's like a very
Darren
Like a
Lynn
three-word-
Bauschman.
Bauja.
Bausch,
But
Bauschman?
he
Bau-
the
Bousman?
characters,
Australian.
even the traps, are all in that original script.
yeah.
And, yeah.
I didn't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
He-
interesting.
He had like it was basically Saw, but just in a house.
It's probably
And
like
so
dual thinking.
Yeah,
or
because
whatever
this
they
is
call
his
that.
directorial debut, because
Yeah,
he just
it's his
does music
first one.
videos originally,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like the first script he ever wrote. And when they saw it, they're like, "This is basically Saw. Would you be interested to just combine it all together?"
Yeah.
Because the characters, the kills, the traps are all the same
Interesting.
in his story.
Yeah, because that's why I felt like with it, with like I could see it being its own independent film, but also at the same time, like, okay, it does like a nice job of like paying homage to the original one. But I thought it was great.
I really love the idea of having a horror movie in which strangers are locked in a house in a room. It's very like scary, real worldy kind of thing, and it actually reminded me, like very loosely, but still reminded me of, I don't know how many episodes of like the Twilight Zone everybody's seen, but there's an episode and it's 5 strangers trapped in a room. And it's just, or it's, sorry, not 5 strangers trapped in a room. It's
I was like,
5.
is that what it's called?
No, it's called 5 Strangers in Search of an Exit is what it is. And if you haven't seen that episode, Twilight Zone's very quick. It's probably like 22-ish minutes or something like that. But it's basically like there's 5 different characters and they're trapped in this like very weird vacant room. And at the very end, you get the twist and you understand where they're all trapped. It's very fun. It's a very holiday-esque themed episode, which is part of the twist. I will not ruin it for everybody if you guys want to see it, but that's very much what it reminds me of. And I love those types of movies where like you're not given a lot of information. You're just kind of like, you're in the situation, very much like Saw in the first one. You're there with them and you're like, why are we here? What are we doing? What's going on? Very escape roomy-esque. I was very excited to talk about Saw 2 because my favorite Saw movies are Saws 2 and 3. Because they're very much, you're going through like this maze, going through this house, and you're trying to solve puzzles and figure things out and like avoid death at all costs kind of thing, which is very not scary, but kind of like anxiety ridden, if you will. Because like you're like, okay, like they're gonna turn the key, and then like but there's a shotgun that's attached to the key, and then now not only are you dealing with the fact that you have a poison that's in your veins that you have 2 hours to figure out if you can get an antidote or not, but like one of the characters turns on the other, so now you're like dealing with this murderous other guy who's just as much a victim as you are, but who's coming after you. So there's like multiple different areas of like time's running out, clock is ticking kind of thing happening.
You also have Donnie's son in there, who he put a lot of these people away. So they also have Donnie. They also have that. They also have that thing to be like, hey man, should we just take the kid out because his dad pretty much locked us up?
Yeah.
Like,
Donnie Wahlberg, ladies and gentlemen, because Mark Wahlberg was too expensive, and because the other Wahlbergs were running Wahlburger.
Wallaburger. I felt like this one, and I agree with your point, Marissa, where I felt like this one is very much like a race against time movie. You have the people trapped in the house, and then you have the conversation between John Kramer and Donnie Wahlberg. Like, it's like, you just have to talk to me till the clock runs out. And then you have the SWAT team, FBI, whatever they were, just like, all right, we just need to kill this man like right now. Like, let's just get it. So it's
but
very
there's
much
that
like
one
a race
detective
against
that's like,
time.
I want to keep him alive because it's like the first time we have like a sit down with him and like we want to flesh it out. And Donnie's like, "That's my kid."
Why are you smiling?
No, I was like, yes, because that particular detective actress is Dizzy from...
from Starship Troopers.
Oh, no.
Which I like literally spent the first like 10 to 15 minutes of this movie like researching, because I always thought for some reason that character was played by Carrie Russell, which like I even showed Ryan a picture and I was like, I thought it was this girl, and he was like, looked at her and I was like, yeah, they look so similar, which is funny because her name is Carrie Russell and the character's name is Carrie, but it is not played by her. It's played by Dina Meyer. So, and yeah, Starship Troopers. I did my part.
Straight banger.
I did my part. I didn't do fucking shit.
There you go.
So sorry, guys.
For the kids who don't know what that TikTok is from, there you go.
Oh, yeah, Starship Troopers.
They also filmed like 4 to 5 endings to this fucking film.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that too.
So
Yeah.
Oh, they
scared.
did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were so scared that the ending would like get leaked out, so they
Yeah.
filmed 4 to
Yeah.
5 different.
And then they also didn't give them... I knew it. Go ahead, do it.
No,
You
no,
do
no,
it.
no, no. I sold the
took
other
the
one.
other
No,
one.
it's your
No, I
turn.
took the other one. You go.
No. I'm gonna give
I'll
it to you.
take it. I don't know what it is.
They didn't give the actors the last, what was it, like 10 to 15 pages of the script
Oh, that's
so that
fun.
the ending wouldn't get leaked.
I like when people do that. I kind of like that it
what
keeps
is
it
it?
on your toes.
Nolan does that a lot.
No one does. Yeah.
And he's like, no fans on set.
No, yeah. He's like,
Did you just thank IMDb in like a whisper?
Yeah.
I know.
Because that's
Mark, I almost said Mark Wahlberg.
The
Donnie
other
Wahlberg.
Donnie.
The one that was in New Kids on the Block and the one that is also married to Jenny McCarthy.
Timo
Donnie
Wahlberg.
Shout out to New Kids on the Block, but not Jenny McCarthy. His son is played by Eric Knudsen, and he actually plays in another sequel that is actually a favorite of mine. He is in Scream 4. He plays Robbie Mercer. He is the one that with the camera that says, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And I don't know. I love that sequel, so love Scream. But Beverly Mitchell from Seventh Heaven, she's also in there.
Yeah.
Have you guys all seen Seventh Heaven?
I've seen stuff.
I've never watched a single episode of Seventh Heaven. I know
It's
everything
rough.
that has to do with Seventh Heaven.
It is
Never
so
seen it.
rough to watch now, knowing what we know about certain
Ooh.
actors.
Yeah, because I know you. I didn't know
brought that up
anything
to you,
about it
yeah.
until he told me one time.
But it's very like the show in itself, time capsule itself, besides of what's going on outside, wholesome afternoon show. Like very much like here's a situation where you have a very religious family, something goes wrong, and then like you learn your lesson, and that's pretty much it.
You smoked weed? Get out of my fucking house.
But then the wife, wife
mom
goes
did
like,
it.
"I
Yeah,
did
too. I've done
and
it
I did
before." And just the music and zoom into the
my
face and the
God.
commercial break. Loved it.
Oh my god.
As someone who's
Cow
never
9 classic,
seen
dude.
Seventh Heaven or knew anything about it, I literally thought it was a show about the seventh level of heaven or something.
No.
I don't fucking know.
Heaven?
I don't.
I mean, it's called Seventh Heaven.
Are there levels of heaven?
I
thought
don't
it
know.
was
I
levels
took a
of-
gamble.
I don't-
I took
So
a
yeah,
gamble.
why is there levels to hell but not levels to heaven?
There is. That's why you're on cloud 9.
Because there's medium rare. Then there's
Well done. Extra crispy.
hell, baby.
I don't know. I really like. Yeah, I was like, I really liked. I liked this movie. I felt like this one was arguably like scarier
Yeah.
than the first one
I
because
can
there
agree
were
with
so
that.
many different things that.
It
were
also
coming to
gave
get you.
Jigsaw more to do because like he's in the first one he's obviously just laying there.
Yeah.
And this one it's more like he's more torturous because he's like messing with Donnie. He's messing with the cops. Like he doesn't care.
it's Donnie.
Yeah, it's
Detective
Donnie.
Donnie.
Detective Donnie.
I mean, to be realistic, I would fuck with Donnie Wahlberg. Just to be
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
I fuck with any
oh, what's over there? No.
Because even the actor said like that's my favorite movie because like I got to do more. I got
Yeah.
to flesh the character out a little bit more
Yeah.
than just being
Yeah.
on the floor for 99% of the movie.
Yeah, I think it was good. Like, it was the same thing as I brought up with like the first one. Like, I didn't expect the twist ending in this one either. Where I was just like, wait, what? I will say, like, when we watched both movies back to back. I felt myself dozing off in the first like 10-15 minutes of Saw 2, where I was like, it's not interesting. I don't really care for it. That's when I was on my phone, and then slowly but surely I was like, wait, what's happening? Like, rewind. Like, let me go back so I can understand what's happening. But I was very engaged with this one, just as engaged as I was with Saw. I was very engaged. Like, what the fuck's happening in Saw 2? I was like trying to piece together. It's like, what is the twist ending that I know that's going to come, but I cannot figure it out? And then it fucking happened. I was like, damn.
Oh, you mean that the son was actually Donnie Wahlberg's son?
Well, that he's actually trying to
The
punish.
whole time.
The whole time. I think my favorite twist of the whole thing is the fact that like Joseph's watching the World Series, like
I know.
in the corner, and he's just like,
No one knows that until you just said that.
What a time
Editing.
"What a twist!"
to be alive.
Make your choice, Joseph. Yeah, I think it's a great movie.
I think it was good.
I
don't-
love the ride. Like, I love the different rooms. Once again, I like.
Billy
see
got a
it.
makeover. He got robotic eyes.
Oh yeah,
different
you got
mouths
it.
'cause
Yeah,
the budget
got a little
went
something
up.
different.
I did not notice.
I didn't either.
Oh my God.
Well, yeah, his
I
little
didn't
eyes
notice.
with like
when
this little.
I watched it, I was like, I couldn't tell. I'm
Yeah.
like,
couldn't
once I
tell.
read it, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, I didn't notice his eyes going like at all. Like after like rewatching
I
it
couldn't
now.
tell either. I know, like when we were talking about like coming, like I know Joseph like asked me, he's like, what do you want to dress up as for like first Saw? And I was like, I don't know, I'm not dressing up for this one. He's like, do you want to just like do the
Do, like,
little
a red.
swirls like on
thought
your
about it.
on your cheeks? And I told him, I was like, I'm not ruining my favorite lipstick for this.
And then she would look like one of the like little munchkins from Candy Cane Land, or what was it? What is it? Where are they from?
Munchkins.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, what it was.
The Munchkin Land, right?
Munchkin. Is it Munchkin Land?
Yeah, it
I
is.
thought it was,
Munchkin
It
Land?
I
is.
thought it was a
yeah.
different. I don't know why. I
You're
thought it
a
was
fan of
funny.
Wizard of Oz?
No, it is
Munchkin?
Munchkin Land.
Well, I live in
Munchkin?
I just know the other part of it. It's Munchkinville.
I feel like this is only a joke that you.
No, it's just another part of the city. It's just more downtown. Because I don't know what it was called.
I was like, where?
The hood
Where?
of
I was like,
Munchkin-
where is he?
Munchkinville
Where is he
proper.
going with this?
It's the hood of Munchkin Land.
It's wild, man.
What's the little Tokyo version of Munchkin Land?
I can't say it.
No.
No, I don't know. It has a vibrant city culture, and the Munchkin Chinatown is nice as well.
Munchkinese.
Sorry, we gotta cut all that. Holy shit!
Saw 2 also nominated for a Saturn Award. It lost it to The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Wait, which one was the
The
Emily
se-
Rose one?
The one with
Is
her
that the
in
one where they're doing the
fog or
trial?
whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where they have that.
I always get that one confused with Molly Hartley.
I get that one confused.
That's
Yeah.
the one I was like
Same movie.
flip flop.
They're not the same.
No, they're
honestly.
not. The one is arguably better than the
These
other.
movies in the theater.
Both the Exorcism movies?
I saw The Exorcism of Emily Rose and Saw 2 that same year in the theaters.
Oh, I was like, you were allowed to see those.
Yeah, if it was The Exorcist or Exorcisms, they were like, oh, that's fine. I'm like, okay,
Because
cool, bro.
there's an
Like,
exorcism
yeah,
happening.
it's like Jesus is in the building.
Gotta love that Jesus.
Jesus is the way.
Amen.
Amen. Jesus.
Jesus Christ, I love you.
Are we doing Hamlet too? Is that technically a sequel?
No, we've said this already on this podcast.
Yeah, we have.
Oh yeah.
I think it was like episode 2 or 3.
Wait, was I the one that said that?
Yes.
Perfect.
Do you want to bring
Continuity.
up well, my favorite. Okay, well then
Well,
I'll ask
ask
this
the question,
broad
ask your
question. What is
question.
our favorite Saw? What's the word? Saw
Trap.
Trap. There we go. Thank you. I
Pick
can't
me,
think of
pick
it.
me, pick me.
Go for it.
The needles
Well, we're in
from
this,
Saw 2.
We're in the same boat then, because that's my favorite.
I
as
only
well.
have it because I had one little fun fact. The only fun fact I had for Saw 2 is that obviously when they were doing the needle trap scene, it took 4
We all know this
people.
one? Yeah, I was like,
We
we
Yeah,
all-
he already
We
knows.
all
I
read
know
this
it too.
one.
Yeah, I was like, I know
we
it too.
were all
4 people, 4 days to do like their syringes to replace the needle tip with like fiber optics, whatever the fuck it was called, fiberglass. I don't even know.
fiber optic.
I think it's fiber optics.
It's
yeah.
very thin
Fiber
wire
optics,
that-
but it took there was like 120,000 syringes, but the one, such a terrible dad joke that I'm about to bring up. I'm so sorry for everyone that has to hear it, but so when they were filming it, somebody actually dropped actual syringes into the needle pit, and then so they literally
a
had to
needle in a
dig.
haystack.
She stole my joke. I'm leaving.
Oh, damn! Way to trample.
She said a dad joke and it just
Trampled
clicked
all
it.
That
over
was
the
so-
dad joke.
You did.
Damn.
You did.
Needle in a needle stack.
I got
Go
nothing
back,
else
say it
to
again.
say.
Go back, say it
Back.
again.
No, she stole my joke.
Could do it again in the mall. Just
No, I'm just gonna drink away my sorrows.
sorry.
Just put that clip of like Ray Liotta laughing in the corner.
It's literally
Just like his turn of like.
Now I'm gonna put Ryan's laugh, his ripperoo laugh.
I'm sorry, Mooney.
funny how?
Funny how
Oh,
come.
like a
I'll
clown?
never
Who
forgive
do
you
I
for
amuse
this.
you?
Yeah, you will. You'll be fine.
No, I won't.
It wasn't that good of a joke.
Reheat my cookies and then maybe
That sounds so weird out of context.
it's fine.
Reheat your cookie.
Don't worry about it.
It's funnier than the needle in the haystack. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say, with me, baby, those cookies are always hot. Joseph,
Oh, shit.
I already
favorite
said my
drop?
favorite.
Yeah, that favorite
He
drop?
has the same one.
It's
I
the
do.
same one.
That's the
yeah.
same one?
I've
Oh.
always. That's the one that's always stuck with me, just because the
He has-
thought of it, just fuck.
Well, it's
Oh,
also
yeah,
the
absolutely.
thing, like,
Thought of
you
it.
have like a fear of stepping on like sharp things.
Oh yeah,
Like-
anything with feet, I freak out with. Like, there's been I used to freak out with Castaway when he steps on that.
Sea urchin,
Yeah, or in Quiet Place when she steps on that fucking needle.
the nail.
The nail. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah,
That's
that's
a
rough.
I hate scenes like that, dude.
I've
Like,
stepped
it
on a
just-
Or Home
sea
Alone where he
urchin.
said-
It's not fun. It's not fun stepping on a sea urchin.
I mean,
Oh.
I'll never do
no.
it. I never want to.
Yeah, no, those
experience
are-
that.
Oh, then she said she'll never do it again.
No,
I was
that's-
like,
yeah,
do you have a
no, it's
choice?
bad time. That's a bad time.
I've stepped on one before.
Those barbs are no joke.
It was dead, so it wasn't
was
as
deep.
painful.
It was dead.
I mean, there's no poison.
He's dead.
I'd rather step on a dead one than a live one. At least I
Aren't
won't
they
get
like
poisoned.
poisonous? Yeah.
Yes, a live one is poisonous. The dead one I stepped on, no poison.
Just
Interesting.
ouchie.
Ouchie.
Major ouchie.
it's funny because also I found out one of the reviews from when it came out. They compared it to Fear Factor or Big Brother's House, but hosted by Rob Zombie. That was one of the reviews. I saw.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
To me, it reminded me of what is it? Is it Halloween H2O
But Busta?
with Busta?
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. Where they're staying in that house.
When they're staying in that
That's
house,
what it reminded
yeah.
me of.
Wait, who
Just
was
like
in
Tyra Banks
Resurrection
is gonna be in a
then?
corner. What
Who was in Resurrection then?
was it?
Halloween
Resurrection?
It was Resurrection because
No, H.
H2O
wait.
was at the
was the
school.
one at the school
Oh, the
with
one at
Jamie
school.
Lee.
Yeah. Okay. So
And,
Resurrection.
What
yeah.
is his nose from the faculty? Hartnett.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Josh Hartnett was the
Yeah,
son.
LL Cool J.
That yeah, and L.
Yeah.
Ah,
It was
LL
LL
Cool
Cool
J.
J.
Yeah.
that's
Brown Brown.
Oh my god.
I totally butchered that line, but
So I was like, wait a minute.
you knew where I was
Busta
going.
Busta was in Resurrection
What was
with
Bu- what was
Tyra
Busta?
Banks.
What
Right?
did he say? Yeah, it's Tyra Banks. What is his line?
Trick or treat, motherfuckers.
Trick or treat,
We
motherfuckers.
literally
Roundhouse
fist fights.
kicks, fucking-
Oh
I'm like,
my
wait,
God.
what?
Michael Myers, dude. I saw that in theaters. Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
H2O wasn't terrible.
H2O was alright.
I mean, it
the
had
mask
Jamie Lee
was
Curtis in
terrible.
it.
The mask was real bad in H2O. That shit looked awful, but
Yeah, but Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, it's
No.
like a storyline.
it's just the ending was brutal. Like
Depends on,
no.
Depends on what
Anyway.
storyline you follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you
Back
in
to
the
Saw.
Halloween
That's
timeline?
fair. Yeah.
Back to
Back to
Saw.
Saw.
Back to
Sorry.
Saw.
Back to
Yeah,
Saw. Ryan,
Back to Saw.
favorite trap?
Reverse Bear Trap for me.
From the first one?
Yeah, from the first one. If we're talking about the first two movies, I think it's very iconic. I also like the needles,
Yeah.
but for a different reason. Like, it just terrifies me. I hate all the needles. I can't do it
Same.
because there's like multiple factors of it. It's like, those use needles.
Yeah, dude. It's
And then Marissa leaned over and she's like, she's definitely got the hepatitis now.
oh.
The hepatitis?
It's the fact that homeboy just grabs her. And
Yeah,
just
just like, you're going
like
in.
a rag
Oh
doll.
yeah,
Somebody's
that's what I
going
know.
in.
I'm
That's
just
the
like, I feel
decision
like
she
there's such an
made.
easier way to.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know,
like,
but then I'm like thinking about it. I'm like,
there's shit in the room that you
how
can
bad
fucking
is
sift
it?
through
Like
it
when
if
you
really
throw
wanted
in,
to.
like why is the pit that deep? I don't know. There's so many questions I have about that.
And they didn't even make it in time. She did all that, and like the countdown went down.
Yeah.
And he was even.
It was
more
at
mad.
2 and he still even couldn't put it in.
Yeah.
He still had 2 seconds.
See, and I thought like the whole time, like because he was so mad that they didn't get it in time, that he would just like go by and like kick her back in there.
I think that was.
I thought he was
That
Well,
going
he
to.
but-
goes back around to like grab her, and the other dude's like, "No, stop, dude! Like,
Yeah.
know your limit." And I'm like, I mean, at this point, dude,
Yeah.
because it ends up becoming like a killer in the house. He ends up like trying to kill all.
That's
of
what I'm
them.
saying.
Yeah.
Like, there's multiple factors, like in this one, where it's just like you're not just racing against like the poison or like
the
just
traps.
other traps.
There's a guy that's
like,
psychotic
there's
and
now
wants to
there's
kill
a
to
guy
get
who's
his way
coming at
out.
you
Yeah,
with a bat kind of thing.
and
It's
then
weird,
Donnie's
like,
kids in there.
yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
many
And then at the
different
end, yeah,
layers.
everybody's just like, "Oh fuck this kid! I'm
Yeah.
gonna fucking take
the
this
layers
shit out
to
of him."
this. There's way more layers than this in the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's way more parties, way more individuals. And he just kind of makes Jigsaw even more powerful because he's the puppeteer. He's the one that's just playing all the tricks, going along with it.
I put one thing that I wrote in my notes is bringing up like layers, because I know you brought up the thing that we were talking about is while we were watching, is Jigsaw technically like an anti-hero kind of thing? I don't consider him to be an anti-hero. I think he is an anti-villain, where he's not necessarily the villain. I mean it comes and goes. He's like an anti-villain with like layers, like an onion, like you just want to peel him.
Like Shrek, like an onion.
Yeah, because it's like he technically doesn't kill anyone.
So he's Charles Manson. Yeah.
Sure, that's exactly what he
So
brought
is
up when I
Manson
told
not a
him
villain?
to.
Exactly what I brought up was
Well,
Manson.
he
Yeah,
brought
so-
up.
He didn't commit the murders,
He
but
didn't
he
commit the-
assisted
but-
and was 99%
So if
involved.
there was
But-
so if
okay,
there was a
okay.
trial, he would just
He would
no.
go
He's
put it-
acquitted.
No, I don't
The
think
glove
so.
doesn't fit?
I think he's an accomplice to what everything that happens.
No, he
But,
would
like-
be treated exactly like Charles
Yes, he
Manson.
would.
He
Yes.
is
He's the puppeteer.
brain to
Yes.
the entire operation.
I don't think he's not a villain. I think he is a villain, but I think he's more so just.
Would it be manslaughter?
Different, yeah.
Manslaughter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just
manslaughter?
stop talking about it. 'Cause-
Gypsy Rose.
yeah.
She's pregnant now. Shout out to Gypsy Rose.
Oh my
Congratulations.
fucking god! He had a home run off the fucking first bat.
He's not talking about Saw.
No, he didn't.
Even
Fuck
though
him.
there is a bat in Saw, so he could
There
be
is?
talking about Saw.
He did hit a home
Oh
run.
yeah, that
that
bat
was
with the nails and
And
stuff.
that's
Yeah.
what
What was his name,
Joseph's talking
Jonas?
about.
Yeah,
Yeah. Grand slam on Jonas.
yeah.
And that's what Joseph's talking
am.
about. He's talking about the bat that he hits him with. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm in a crossroads of just like I like the entire house as itself as a trap because there's just like different rooms. They're like mini, like almost like like an escape room. Like it's different mini puzzles.
And off the rip, you can't even open any door because you already know there's little tricks to.
Yeah, there's little like things that
gun
go on,
attached,
and I think like my personal favorite trap, which is like not a favorite because I think that it's like a cool trap. It's just always one that sticks out in my brain through the second one is the one where it's the girl with the razors in the box because she's
Yeah.
just so quick to just be like, "Whoop," and then she's like, "Oh no." Whoop. And then you're like, all right, well, what are you gonna do now? And I'm like
It's the
thinking in
dumbest
my
shit
brain,
that I've ever seen
Yeah,
in my
dude.
life.
Well,
well, yeah, I'm like thinking in my brain, I'm
why?
like, could she not have like you either used her other hand to get her hand out and figure it out, or like if like she had just looked at it for 2 seconds, taken like the bat or something, maybe hit the side of it, went in, grabbed it, and then
not just
boom.
immediately be like.
Yeah, both
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I also don't want to argue that. And then in the sense of like, okay, I'm in this like
Setting.
setting of like not thinking straight kind of thing. It's almost like when you're watching like Jeopardy, right? And you're just like, oh, the answer is this. But when you're on stage in front of an audience and like that kind of like
Adds
pressure
an
sits
extra
on
pressure,
you,
yeah.
yeah, does it like really add something? Because I know like when we've done like a horror theme escape room, like I just freeze. Like I don't cry, I don't scream, I don't do anything.
It's like those things where
I
you see
literally
something, you're
just
like, I
like
could do
shut
it.
up and I like get in my head.
Yeah. It's
Like I'll literally just sit there and I'll just be quiet.
It's like even when the guy walks in too, because he could like help her, but not really. And
Oh, well,
he
he's
pulls
just
her
an
hair
asshole,
up, and
yeah.
he just like he
Yeah.
just backs
And then
away
he
shuts the
slowly.
door,
Yeah,
too.
I'm like, damn, bro. He's like, shut the fuck
bitch."
up.
Yeah, you're
Like,
like, shut up, bitch.
Like, let me just move your hair real quick. Oh, nah, not you. Bye.
Yeah, you're dumb.
Like doesn't even give her like the quick death of
Yeah,
like,
just like at
"Here,
that
let
point,
me help
just,
you out.
Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a
Or I've
wrap.
just been like, oh no, you just do that and then you're out.
No.
I kind of wanted a little bit more from is it Jonas, the Frankie G's character,
Yeah.
with the glasses?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of wanted more from him. Like I kind of wish that he had lasted a little bit longer, just because I felt like he was more voice of reason.
That's
Yeah.
why he's like taken out so soon though too.
I know.
Because it added more
You gotta add more
chaos to the
chaos,
setting.
exactly.
Yeah.
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 But I was just like, man, I really liked him.
But
And then
yeah.
Beverly Mitchell, she just like succumbed to poisoning.
Yeah.
And also it's like,
She starts,
what,
like-
why her though?
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
and also like, did we get why she went to jail? Because she's like, that makes 4. So like, why did she go
No,
to jail?
they never explained why she went to jail.
She said, and I
wanted
went
a little
because
bit
of-
more.
and
Yeah, I was
then
like, I
started
wanted a
season
little bit
up.
more like backstory behind these characters because I feel like it slightly would have made me care a little bit more. Like I cared about the son because I knew it was like Donnie Wahlberg's son. Yada yada yada.
And
Shawnee
we got
Smith.
that scene between the two of them before all
Yeah.
that happened.
I think that was like
Yeah,
my
so
He
that was
bails him
fine.
out.
Yeah,
and
that
then
was
they have
fine.
That, and you know he's already
Yeah.
a troubled teen. Yada yada.
Exactly.
and,
But like I wish I would have gotten that for like at least like Jonas's character and then maybe Beverly Mitchell's and then like maybe she died for like a sad reason and then Jonas died like protecting them or something. I don't know. It would have made me care just like a little bit more because in every horror movie you have to have characters that are just like meat and then you have to have characters that like they have the backstory, you care about them, you want them to succeed and either they win or lose and then that's it. I don't know. I just wish I would have had like just like how much more.
I feel like that was my, and I agree with you. I think that was my nitpicky with Saw 2 is that I didn't really, with the first one, you get the backstory between Adam and Gordon, where this one you didn't really understand.
Yeah, you didn't get as much.
You didn't get as much like backstory. Like I understand that Donnie Wahlberg's character, crooked cop detective, where
Detective Donnie.
he needed
No,
to,
he has a name because they mention it. He's in the third one. He's a very prominent character in the third one.
Detective, not Marky Mark.
yeah,
That's very
detective,
true.
not Marky Mark. I like
Don't
that.
call him Marky Mark. He gets very offended.
Not Marky Mark.
Wait, which one gets offended, Mark or Donnie?
Mark gets offended.
Mark.
No, Mark
Call
gets
him
offended.
Marky Mark.
Oh yeah, he does not like that.
I'll just call him Bully.
Mr. Wahlburger.
Yeah. Mr. Wahlburger.
Mr. Burger.
Mr. Burger.
And then Donnie just call him like Mrs. McCarthy or whatever.
Oh, shit.
Mrs. Novaks?
No,
Yeah.
Vax, yeah.
And it's sad. And like for Marky Mark, it's like, yeah, who gives a shit? Like people don't forget. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dude, I
you
will
know.
say, well, no, we were talking about Donnie Wahlberg specifically about he was like, oh yeah, with his acting, and I was like, dude, Sixth Sense, man.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah, is that in the back pocket?
He just has that.
He has a couple, dude.
That's
Like,
good.
oh man, like he was creepy in that. That was great. I love
What,
Sixth Sense.
No,
yeah, I
yeah,
love
Sixth
Sixth
Sense.
Sense.
Great twist.
Yeah, a friend of mine, we used like Sixth Sense in like a theater thing that we did, and like it was great. It was awesome. But anyway,
Anyway, Saw 2.
Saw 2. And Donnie Wahlberg,
I mean, he's a big part. Darn it.
also in Dead Silence.
Beware the stare of Mary Shaw.
No, we're not doing that.
All right, let's
I
rate this
haven't
bad
heard
boy.
You're gonna summon her. It's like Beetlejuice.
Let's rate this bad boy. Start off, babe.
Beetlejuice.
You knock it off. No.
Does it make sense if like you do like in tandem? Like, what if I'm talking about juice that's made of beetles?
No.
Then you get OJ.
It doesn't work like that.
May he rest in peace.
Uh,
Maybe his football career.
a football career. I mean,
Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Naked Gun's a great movie.
Naked Gun's a great movie, but it's
are
not because of
Also,
Or
not
Naked Gun.
you for making me watch it.
Naked Gun has sequel.
Mm.
I'm just saying. Anyway,
I am very conflicted with this one. I don't know if I like it more or if I hate it more. It was a good movie. I felt like I was very interested and just very compelled to continue watching the film. I found myself getting bored in the beginning, but then I rewinded and I just started watching it again. I like that you get a little bit more backstory into Jigsaw. The twist, did not expect it again. I was kind of bummed that I didn't figure it out, but I think I'm at a solid 3.5 with this one too. I think I'm about the same both ways. I'm gonna cruise with the 3.5 for both movies. 3.5. That's it. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Convince yourself.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right?
Am
Yeah,
I?
we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like all the people that are running her brain are just like, are we good with that? Yeah, let's submit it. Let's submit it.
There's too
no,
much.
we're good.
There's too much
Yeah, put
that
it
I
through.
could go. But 3.5, it's good. It's solid. I enjoyed it. 3.5. Marissa?
I was like, Joseph, but then I was like, oh no, there's something happening over there. I honestly might stick with you on it just because, like, I feel like 4 is almost too high,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want to go 3 because I feel like I enjoyed a little bit more with this one than the first one.
I enjoyed.
Like, I think 3 is my favorite for some reason.
I haven't seen that one, so I can't talk about that.
I just like the journey, and I like the I feel like 3 really bridges a lot of connections to it. I don't know. And then there's also like a whole like marriage, like husband wife kind of thing that happens in 3 that like I don't know why I'm like so compelled with in there.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I feel like, I mean, I'll save that scoring for when we get there, but I don't want to rate it higher than this one. So I feel like I'm kind of
Yeah, I'm just like it's good. It's
yeah,
I'm
like
gonna roll
if
with
it's
the same.
on like what TNT, TBS, some nonsense.
I'll watch it.
I'll put it on because it's definitely going to be on like Saturday at like 11:30 a.m. for some reason. There's always
So
when they're
It's always
on.
in the morning.
It's always in the
Yeah.
morning. Yeah, like
For
it's
some
always in the
reason,
morning.
Okay.
I've seen it in the morning on
No,
Sci-Fi
no,
one time.
straight up.
They're
It's
right,
always
they're right.
it's always on like Saturday mornings at like 11:30, and
Wow.
you're just like, okay, I guess I'll watch this. It's
Guess I'll watch Saw 2 now.
it's no, it's always it's always like a random Saw sequel, or it's what's that one about the Tooth Fairy? Darkness Falls. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
always
Darkness
Darkness Falls, which like great movie. I love Darkness.
I didn't say it was
Okay,
bad.
just for I'm just gonna throw this out there. Marissa is a sucker for early 2000s horror. I know they're terrible. You don't have to tell me that they're terrible. I just love them. Like there's something nostalgic wise that like sets me off about early 2000s nostalgia. I love it. Anyway, 3.5.
3.5.
There we go. I was gonna say.
Right.
So what was it?
Ding.
For me, 3. I gave it a 3. It's solid. I feel like I haven't seen 3, but I've seen other ones in the series, and I kind of feel like the rating kind of just starts dropping off.
Oh, for sure. As we go.
So
most
I'm
franchises
going to put
do.
it
Yeah,
most
here
franchises
because
do.
there was certain things I liked about it. There were certain things that I was like, that's dumb. Why would that happen? And then I was like, yeah, all right, that's
You
fine.
couldn't have given that extra 0.5 for Donnie.
Donnie's one of the reasons why it's getting a 3 instead of a 3.5.
Oh shit!
We love you, Donnie. Can we tag Donnie in this?
We could
You could.
We love you.
Maybe a
Kids
wall-
reunion.
send me a Wallaburger.
I'm at a 3 as well.
Wahlburger, not Wallaburger.
What? I'm at a 3 for.
Sorry.
I
Well, flip this table over.
Shit, dude. I'm like, cut that out. I'm at a 3. I still enjoy it. I'm not really that invested into the other people that are in the house. There's certain characters I don't really care about. But I do like, again, like the first one, the psychological mindset of like everybody being in there. There's other things going on, the disease, the traps, the threat of like being killed at any moment. Donnie being pretty much helpless. And I feel like it made Jigsaw even more scarier because now we're kind of getting a more fleshed out character with this one. I don't remember 3 at all. I have to go rewatch it, but like I feel like this one really set Jigsaw as like he's always ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He always has a plan, and it's hard
is
to
the game.
He is the game, and like it's hard to beat somebody that always has a backup to a backup to a backup, and like I always love the twist ending at the end. It's always fun when everything you start seeing pieces going together. I love that. But yeah, I think I'm good at 3. I think 3 solid.
Yeah.
It's right there with the first one. For me, it's just psychological stuff that I love the most.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, both,
Viewers,
either.
listeners, watchers,
Audience.
all
Yeah,
of the above.
either. Just so you guys know that some people are so ungrateful to be alive, and now that you've gotten to the end of this podcast, you are not anymore.
We're grateful for you.
That's all. I'm joking. You can sign off.
Oh, and sign off again?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry. right, guys. With that being said, thank you for watching this video. If you've seen Saw and the Saw 2, let us know your review down below. As always, like, subscribe, comment down below. Links in the description. We will see you guys next week for another episode of Podcast The Sequel.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Until next time, the podcast, a show so sublime. Marissa, Mooney, Joseph, and Ryan signing off with glee. Join us next episode for more sequel revelry.